Recently, I finally got the motivation to share my passion for manga. On my way home from work, I started typing away all the video ideas I could think of and had a fire burning inside me to begin. But as soon as I picked a topic and started writing, I realized my first paragraph turned into a very long paragraph of why I love manga. I really want to express myself and my ideas on manga and the sorts on this channel, but before we get there, I think I have to first share a bit about myself. So here's a story of why I love manga. Growing up, I enjoyed reading, or at least I thought I did. I would go through a few 100-page books for beginner readers, you know, those that were just words on the page with no pictures to be found. But every once in a while, they would have a picture, every few chapters or so, and I loved the excitement of reading through the book just to reach these pages and understand what is going on and how this drawing related to the story. Time went on, and as I got older, I drifted away from books without really intending it. I didn't really think about it much, so as any kid would, I would just sit down and watch Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon for as long as my mom would allow me. During one of those days, I was watching TV later than I was allowed to and reached the coolest of TV blocks. I came across something that caught my eye. I saw a kid with a green tight suit and a kid with what looked like sand around him fighting. I was stunned. I couldn't believe what was happening and I wanted to know more. Going through middle school, I didn't really think too much about the style of the show, why it seemed so different from the rest of American cartoons, or where it even came from. I just watched it and it stayed that way for a while. Enter high school, the age where none of us really know who we are and are self-conscious about pretty much everything we do. Or maybe that was just me, who knows. You see, I moved many times growing up and would go back and forth between countries, even to this very day. You'd think that going through that would gain me enough experience, but it wasn't the case. Making friends has always been difficult for me, and I have never been a very confident person. In turn, this made it so that I really had no friends for the first 3 years of high school. Sure, I knew people, said hi to some here and there, made what I call class friends that I would talk to in class and maybe laugh with here and there, but never really spend time with them outside of class. This led to me being alone during lunch and not knowing what to do. One day, I was tired of hiding somewhere to eat my lunch without being embarrassed about being alone. I started walking around school without a goal in mind. I went into the library just to look around, and I found something. I found that kid I would watch every week on TV or YouTube without my mom knowing. But this time, it was different. He wasn't on the TV or my computer. He was on the cover of a book. This was how I was introduced to the world of manga. Filled with curiosity, I started searching through the shelves of all the different manga at my school library. I was so overwhelmed at first and I didn't know where to start. I began to read one at a time and was enamored by the stories and artwork. That feeling that I gained when I was little. By reading the books in order to reach the pictures, I got that. But this time, it was every single page. I started to learn more and more how to read manga. The more I read it, I developed an understanding for this very expressive type of art. I started to understand why and how panels flow, how there can be sequences that are telling you a story without words, or maybe just telling a small joke. Differences in setting, such as it being dark or out in the sun, that can completely change the mood of the scene. Things I would have missed when I first started reading, that completely change the material and make it much more complete. I would go through adventures filled with happiness, action, mystery, hilarious moments, and sometimes even sadness. I couldn't stop reading. I would constantly take as many volumes as I could home, pretty much daily. I would create imaginary enemies with those who would take volume 1 of the series I was planning on reading next, and before I knew it, I read all the manga books at my school. Which, thinking back to, wasn't as much as I thought at first, but being able to see the shelves and know that I read them all gave me the biggest feeling of fulfillment, something I had never really experienced up to this point in my life. Listen, I know this whole thing might seem corny, but that's okay. Take it as you wish. I don't really have a morale for this story. I just wanted to share my feelings and put them out to the world. I have felt like I've been unintentionally holding on to something that has been making me doubt myself. But today, it all changes. Because you listened. I expressed myself. And hey, maybe you should too. Share what you're passionate about and let your feelings out. Don't lock it in and doubt yourself. We are all passionate about something, and we shouldn't be self-conscious about it. Huh. Maybe there was some kind of morale to this story. Hey there, thank you for making it all the way through the video. I'm recording this part of the video days after what you just watched, so if it sounds any different, I'm sorry. I'm still really new to like video editing, audio editing, photo editing. I'm still trying to learn, and any advice for this video, I know it's still pretty rough around the edges and need some improvement, so like I said, if anyone out there has advice or tips, it's greatly appreciated, and the comments are there. I'll listen, and I'm trying to learn, but I want to say that I'm going to make more videos in this style, kinda, but of course focusing more into specific topics and manga, anime, and maybe other sorts of things. But yeah, thank you so much again for listening to me, and I hope to see you again.